Are we supposed to know what that is?
I'm assuming that it's another parasite because everything's blue and he saw something small swimming through the wall.
If you talk directly to him, he will explain further. It didn't look as big as the other parasites, but it looked, like it was kind of wormy, but it looked kind of small.
Parasite sperm.
Thank you for that, Cliff, who's not here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for having stated the words parasite sperm.
His voice, a voice echoes in your head. Parasite sperm.
But it sounds just like Cliff.
Yeah, it echoes. Parasite sperm.
Oh my god.
No, it doesn't. Right now I'm telling you it does not. Because I don't want that. I don't want Cliff echo whispering sperm.
The seed.
Stop!
Oh my god. Oh god.
Sorry.
Are you telling me we're in a dick?
Well, we might.
I thought it was the queen, not the king.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
You have another question if you'd like.
Are we in a dick? No.
The normal questions that Monster of the Week have you asked.
I will say too, as if you continue down, do you? And then I can give you a little bit more description.
Yeah, we're gonna continue down.
Sure. As you continue down, you notice that, the walls have then taken on this strange, substance, fleshy color. And it is... And Jeremiah, because your sharp is a little higher, you see it out of your peripheral for just a moment. You see something almost move through the flesh for just a second. As if, swimming through tissue. And...
I don't normally get queasy in this game, and this is not...
I know, and William,
this is making me witchy.
You see a little bit farther down, you see slowly moving through the wall, seems to be very small, almost a sack in the making, slowly making its way through the tunnel as if to make it out through the tunnel you're in to make it out towards the Crimson Tunnel. Very slowly, only moving about 1 mile per hour, and the other sacks were probably about maybe the size of a backpack, while this one is only the size of a baseball.
I know you can't hear it, but I'm rubbing the bridge of my nose.
Listen, this little side quest tunnel you have made was a bad roll, which was a mark experience roll. So Cliff is getting the marked experience, but you guys get to really experience it.
You're welcome.
So
with that, I'm gonna cut back to Gold Team.
Well, I just have a question for Junior about the way things look. Can we do that first?
Sure.
Okay, Junior.
Yes.
Does it appear that we are in a static tunnel that is surrounded by fluid, like things that are just able to move freely? Or are there solid walls beyond where we are? Can you tell based off of how things are moving?
I don't know. I was born 2 days ago.
It takes a lot.
An alcove and
It takes a lot for Jeremiah to not kick with Junior sometimes. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I think you hear Vita because this whole conversation I assume is from Chip to Chip. Junior's spoken out loud. I don't know why I had that thought, but William, you hear Vita say, I do think that Jeremiah might be on the right path. If I had to guess, this might be some sort of way in which these eggs, these parasites make their way to these crimson tunnels to be prepared. I do not like it.
All right, so I think that what we can now definitively say is we are in a sexual organ of whatever this main entity is.
Possibly, yeah. If not more so like a dick or vagina kind of.
No, just
more in like a plant, like
yes,
but fleshy plant.
Yeah, I'm the fleshy part has made it. You've driven that home. We know.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I am getting that we are in a sexual organ of whatever the main entity be. Don't be like it be, but it do. Don't dooby dooby doo.
Yes.
And back to Gold Team.
And back to actually, you know what? I'm gonna finish this.
Never mind.
I wanted to ask you guys a question now. Do you continue further down?
I think
I don't think we have much of a choice.
Well, I mean, we either go further down or we turn back, and then what will it have all been for? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Thank you. So I think we move forward. I think the consensus is that we're in it. We're going to keep going in it.
That I agree.
Sure. All right, then we return to Gold Team with the slightly different looking body. What would you guys like to do?
I know you described it earlier, but could we further investigate the body to kind of get an understanding of why, like, what was, can we investigate, like, what was done to the body that has killed it outside of it just being here?
Roll a investigate a mystery for me.
That is a 7.
Is a 7. 7 and 1, you get to hold 1. I mean 7 and 9.
Yeah.
7 and 1, 7 and 1, you get to hold 9.
Roll a 1 with 2d6. I dare you.
Yeah, it would be a fucking autopsy at that point. I guess. I mean, I guess it would be what happened here to this body, right?
Sure. As you are looking over the body, getting a little bit closer, you give it a scan over, and the whole kind of the whole Gold Team stops to, take a look and let you investigate. And you're looking for anything not necessarily strange, and something about it is because it is covered in this crimson color all over, it is very easy to look at and perceive the textures of it. And as you are looking at it, you can see that near the forearm on the suit, you see there is a very small hole, almost punched into the suit, which you might, is possibly something was stabbed through it, or possibly something entered the body. You're not quite sure on that, but based on the context of how these parasites jump at you and then enter your body, that might be what happened here.
Mm-hmm.
And as you are looking it over, you get a much closer look at the face as well. And it is so strange because, like I said, it is like all the tissue has been sucked out of this thing, all of any moisture at all. It is very dry looking. And as you get a very close look at the sunken eyes. Are you using like a light source here, or is Hold'em holding the light?
Yeah, I'm holding it close.
Sure. As you hold it, you are holding it very close, and it is causing these very deep, dark shadows on this body. And you now much closer can see that there is these very, very, very thin, almost like vein-like not protrusions, almost just like along the skin, a little bit opaque, being under the skin, like purple veins flowing. It's almost so thin, it's almost more like capillaries going like inside the sunken eyes. And near the very back, you see two very small, what used to be eyeballs there, but they almost look like they are covered in a very thin skin. And as you are so close to it, the two sunken little eyes open
Ah!
with a white glaze over both. And in that open throat, you can hear a...
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Now we
See,
jump back to Team Junior.
Really?
See, when you made the inhale, it cut out almost immediately. So all I heard was...
No, I promise it was a very ghostly, like, breath. Okay, back to Team Junior. You guys continue to make your way down this tunnel, and it is almost slowly getting a bit smaller from side to side. And as you make your way down, only about another maybe 40 or 50 feet or so, you see with the deputy's flashlight, you can see there is an end to this tunnel. And Jeremiah, using your lighter, you can get a little bit of a closer look, but it looks as if the walls themselves come together, and at the very end of it is all this neon blue color, almost the size of a door, but rounded, is this very large, almost translucent sack that seems to just be at the very end here. And it is almost the size of you. And if you take a very close look at it, you can see when you look under like a microscope and you can see like small, like almost translucent bacteria moving around. Mm-hmm. You can see that, except if the bacteria was maybe a couple inches in size.
Ew.
You know, in hindsight, I feel like we should have followed the very basic rules of horror movies.
And stuck together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
We're here now.
Yep.
I think Dennis is like, oh, this is getting a little. I mean, I'm already out of my league, but this is I don't want nothing to do with that.
I feel like we have to. I feel like we gotta recount what we know, right? So we got.
I mean, I can ask Vito what he thinks really quick.
Yeah, because I'm like, we're in this fleshy tube inside of fleshy matter. We only got half the team, and we gotta keep going.
I see a few options before us. I do believe that the Crimson Tunnel would lead us to the Mother, and while we've explored this, I am worried about, that thing popping with any of us near it. And while we could attack it from a distance and disrupt whatever birthing process is going on here, I do not know if killing the Mother, will that affect this? Will that just kill off whatever was growing already? Or will this still operate? Or even, and William, this has been a worry of mine for a little bit, if killing the Mother will even affect parasites that are already born or even with a host. As far as this thing, though, if you want to damage it or hurt it, I think from a distance is the best bet.
I mean, we have the deputy here.
Yeah, I think if you relay that information, like I can shoot it if we want to back up.
I think we should do that.
Okay. Do it.
Sure. How far do you guys back up?
As far away as we can.
Sure. I will say you go far back, as far back as before any of the fleshy walls or floor, just to be safe. And you know, now that the tunnel is just slightly bigger, the deputy moves all the way to the front of the line and has the rest of you there. And he's like, all right, everybody kind of stand back. And he holds the flashlight up so he can see where he's shooting, even though it's a very difficult shot. And he shoots once. It seems like he misses the target since it's a bit far. And then he shoots again. And of course you hear the loud banging of both. And as he does the second shot, you hear this popping sound as just like a large bubble bursting, and you hear this fluid hit the ground like a few gallons of it, or quite a few gallons of it, and you only feel it very slightly, but you can see it better with the light on the fleshy parts of the tunnel. That part of the tunnel begins to slowly shake, and in some sort of, as if it's some sort of reaction. I don't want to stick around for you know, if we're messing with it, I don't want anything else showing up.
I think we should get out of here then.
So we're gonna head back out. Like we're gonna just about 180 and run.
I think that might be the better course of action. And then Mateo says, I mean, unless we want to see what else this thing is going to do.
I feel like we shouldn't.
You said should or should not?
Should not.
Okay.
Because, like, another, like, horror movie rule. Do not.
I also think, you know what? Roll just me plus sharp for a second.
Alright.
As you actually notice that Junior has something in his mouth.
Great.
That's a number 6.
That's a number 6. Alright, mark experience.
Great.
Man, you're gonna be
surprised
buff.
with that.
So I was like, you know, maybe once this whole campaign is over, we can share what my thoughts were in this moment. But as Junior, you know, you notice Junior has something in his mouth, and you have the mental connection like, hey, look what I found. And you see in Junior's mouth is just this much smaller worm just like squirming around.
Spaghetti.
Junior,
Yes?
what do you have in your mouth?
I found one.
Where?
It was on the floor. I guess when it popped, it came pretty far.
Wait. If you found...
As in the order of events was, you guys fired, the thing popped, and then after a few moments, we'll say that you kind of notice Junior walk a little bit ahead of the deputy, and then come back to you.
Wait. Why would there be such a big sack? If
This one, I'll say it's only like 3 inches long.
you made it seem like it was huge.
No, I'm very sorry.
Well, I mean, if Junior has the worm, is it still alive?
It seems to be squirming a little bit, but it also seems to be dying out here in the air.
Junior, can you just clench your teeth around it?
Sure. And he swallows it.
Junior.
He just eats it.
Oh,
You
Like
see him
father,
like chew
like
it.
son.
You see him chew it a bit, and he's like, see, I did it just like you did.
Junior.
Aw, they learn from us.
That's a bad thing.
Hey, you're the one that swallowed something earlier.
Listen.
I just make a face. I raise my eyebrows.
Kids take they take the good and the bad from their parents,
Kids eat the darndest things.
Like babies.
I mean, I guess, because I used to swallow magnets, but...
That explains something. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. There's literally a video, sidebar, that my parents have of me at like 3 years old in Sesame Place in Philadelphia, where I'm crawling across the hotel room floor, just eating fuzzies off the carpet, like literally crawling and picking them up and putting them in my mouth, and I'm like, why are you filming this as opposed to stopping me?
One time,
Did you say that I was in a hotel?
Yeah.
Why?
Even
one
worse.
time
I know.
one time I swallowed a dime and I was freaking out, and my parents were looking in like a parenting book that they had of like what to do when your children
Just
does
gotta
this
wait
thing.
until it comes out.
Well, yeah, but it said it had in the book what to do if they swallowed specifically a quarter, and I was freaking out because it wasn't a quarter, so we still didn't have the answers.
Oh. Aw.
They're like, just wait it out on a quarter. But this one's a dime.
Cut him open if it's a dime. Alright, so here's my concern. I feel like we've come down this tunnel for nothing if we just turn back and walk away. And that does not align well with Jeremiah's morals and feelings. Do we feel confident enough that this is like a tube of procreation where is there something that we can do on our way out to try and like injure it or block it off, or is it too much? Is it too big for us to do something like that?
It seems as if popping this thing has really fucked up whatever parasite creating process it had. And so
Okay.
let's say that if you guys go all face the mother and I don't know, you all die. The
I don't know.
parasiting
Just a
the
bit.
parasite creating process will definitely be halted for a bit.
Alright, so I can leave satisfied. Sort of.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's get out.
I'm just gonna carry Junior, like, just hold him close, like, Junior, please.
And we also are here, like, just now having a nice conversation with the corpse, right?
It is so funny because I was like, well, I want to reward them a little bit. Maybe it'll be like Junior found something. And I was like, well, let's mark experience. So we will jump back to Gold Team. And as this thing takes this deep, dry, hollow breath, the Hold'em, you notice that, and the two of you hear in the distance 2 gunshots ring out. And as this thing breathes and it fills the chest cavity, you see it begin to slowly sit up and move.
Oh, God. I'm
Sir?
chopping this thing's head off.
Sir?
Sure. Roll.
Wait.
Sure to what?
Hold on. Let Hold'em have this conversation because I don't know if I don't think Cliff's character would be so quick to do this.
You hold him as you're going, sir. The body itself, its weight is not on its legs as it is getting up.
Oh.
And in fact, as the body moves, one of the legs, a little bit below the knee, actually falls off.
Huh.
And as it moves its hands, it's not even pushing off the wall to move with its hands. They almost curl up in place as it moves its limbs, the skin itself is so dry that the bones almost very easily push out. It seems as if whatever is pushing this body to get up is from behind the neck. And
Okay, so that's a 10. I am kicking some ass, and I am chopping this thing's head off.
That's fine. That's fine.
Or actually, no, I'm gonna chop it at like where the movement, like where it's beginning to get like cause some movement. So I guess the neck area.
Sure. So with a 10, you get you roll plus tough, and then on a 10 plus, you choose one extra effect. And I'll remind everybody at home as how Kick Some Ass works, because it's been a bit. On a 7 plus, you and whatever you're fighting inflict harm on each other. The amount of harm is based on the established dangers in the game. That usually means you inflict the harm rating of your weapon, and your enemy inflicts the attack's harm rating on you. And on a 10 plus, choose one extra effect. You gain the advantage, take +1 forward, or give +1 forward to another hunter. You inflict terrible harm, +1 harm, or you suffer less harm, -1 harm, or you force them where you want them.
Ooh. Do we need the advantage for coming up here? Because I think we have to remember that I think we know that there's still some parasites, some hosts potentially chasing us somewhere.
And I will say too, Hold'em, you will still have your fortunes thing as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we kind of already have an advantage thing.
If you want, you still get the bonus that you can use moving forward. You know, you can do whatever you like.
You know what? Just to get out of the situation, because I think Cliff's really curious about the gunshots and wants to go check on that. So just to hurry the situation along, I think he's gonna want to force them where he wants them.
Sure. And where is that?
On the ground and dead.
Sure. And you were aiming for the neck, right?
I'm aiming for where we think it's kind of getting its movement from.
Okay. How much harm does that do?
That does fire. The fire axe is 3 harm, hand messy.
And that is the weapon that Jesse helped with, right?
I think so. Oh no, the golf club was the one that he helped with, I think.
Okay. As you bring to, you go to swing your fire axe, it hits the neck, and it is, for some reason, you find that the neck itself is a lot denser than you would have expected. It still breaks the skin, but it is almost like hitting a hard piece of rock, and it sends your axe up towards its face, and you slice off almost 2/3 of this thing's face, and leaving the jaw hanging off and one of the eyes still protruding. And you said that does 3 harm?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, it looks like that does. It takes a huge. It takes a hit, but then it also seems like the weapon itself doesn't hit quite as hard as you thought it would. And as this thing is getting up, as you make that swinging motion, Hold'em, you can see that out of its back and its neck, almost spider-like, these larger, almost, what's the right word? I guess insect-like legs seem to unfold from the back.
Oh.
And lift itself up off the ground as if holding itself from the neck. And and 2 of the insect-like legs come around the body itself into 2 slashing-like arms, almost like a prey mantis.
This is some Super Paper Mario shit.
Yeah.
And one of them actually comes back around and slices you, Cliff, right across your arm for 2 harm.
So I have +1 armor, so 1 harm.
Yep, 1 harm.
All right, I'm going to attack it with ice magic.
Sure, go right ahead.
Kick some ass. I have a +1 to this. It's gonna be an 8.
8. All right. With that, just normal back and forth. With a 8, describe me how the ice magic looks.
So I'm going to specifically attack its where its legs are to try to get those to slow down. But I also know that cold stuff, these parasites don't like extreme changes in temperature. So that's why I'm doing cold stuff here. So I'm gonna like start at the legs, but kind of like swipe my hand around so it hits its legs and then like swipes towards its body and head as well.
Yeah, sure. So with that, you and how much damage does that do?
Good question.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, because it's not like an immediate
No, it's not.
kick some ass or a weapon.
Yeah. No, it's using magic to kick some ass, and I'm not using a weapon necessarily.
Okay, so then with that, and your roll was a 7,
Yep.
so 7 and 9. I'm just gonna do it as if you are, just using magic, and because of that, it seems as if the cold definitely really affects it. All right, yeah. With that, you almost see the crimson color around it turning this much lighter, icy blue as it takes this hit, and it is covering its body. And with this, it reacts, and from where the throat would be, and Junior's team, you guys hear this too. You hear this just almost very dry but guttural.
Huh.
It once again cut out, so it sounded really funny.
That
William,
echoes.
Is that your stomach?
And that you hear that echo through the crimson tunnels. And
Must be really hungry.
with that, you cover you cover a good portion of its chest up to its neck, and in response to that, almost to try to shake off the ice, from the shoulder to its hip, the torso seems to open, and you can see the rib cage inside, and the rib cage itself has been splintered in places, almost like improvised teeth, creating this sideways mouth that runs down the torso, ripping open the hazmat suit. And inside, for a moment, Hold'em, you can see almost like glued to the back of the body any semblance of what could be organs, but long melded and almost mushed. And it bites at you. And it actually bites down on half of your body. God. Almost the entire left side grappling you.
Jesus.
And you take 3 harm.
Alright, so I'm going to take 2 harm.
Yep.
We need to get the fuck out of here. Hi, this is Chris, and you're listening to the Table Party Podcast. Now, let's get back to the party.
I'm going to jump to
Jesus.
Team Junior. What would you guys like to do?
Get the fuck out of here.
I feel like we should run towards the noise.
Yeah, as you begin moving towards it, you begin to hear a blanket of gunshots echo through the tunnel, as now both Luna and Solace have pulled out firearms and attempting to fire at this thing. And Solace actually takes a few shots from afar, not as good of a shot as Luna, and it manages to pierce it, but it doesn't seem to do as much damage as they would have expected. And so Luna, trying to be a bit braver and get a better shot in and do a bit more damage, goes up to the wound that Cliff left in near the throat, and almost like trying to shoot off the other side of the head, blasts a shot with her pistol through it, and this takes out the rest of the jaw, leaving only a small bit of what was the upper jaw in its teeth. And you could see the hole that leads down into its throat, and it seems as if it is almost like the spine and the neck that has like grown out and caused this thing to just carry itself. And you all make this realization that the body and like the head and arms and things might not be as important as all of the other limbs that has sprouted from the back of this thing. With that, I will give I'll give Cliff and Hold'em like another turn before anybody else shows up.
I feel like I want to help Hold'em deal with the thing being on him at the moment.
Sure. I want you to roll to help out.
Okay, help out.
And we'll do it a little bit different than the help out roll, because usually that's like a reaction. You know what? Actually, give me.
Could you protect someone?
Yeah, because we never get to do that. I want you to roll
Yeah.
to protect somebody. So with that, you're gonna roll plus tough.
Okay, I'm just double checking something. Well, I do have the power of heart.
And
When
that'll
fighting
give.
a monster. If you help someone, don't roll plus cool. You automatically help as though you'd roll a 10.
That's great.
But you still want to do tough though.
I still want to do protect somebody,
Okay,
because help out is much more of a reactionary thing.
sure. Okay.
And what I shared is the protect somebody.
Okay.
So on a and this is just for the audience, on a 7+, you protect them, okay, but you'll suffer some or all of the harm they were going to get. On a 10+, choose an extra. You suffer little harm, -1 harm. All impending danger is now focused on you. You inflict harm on the enemy, or you hold the enemy back.
That is a 10.
That is a 10. All right. So with that 10, you also get to choose an extra effect.
Let's do. I think since we're getting back up, I don't necessarily need to hold the enemy back at the moment. Oh, how about I inflict harm on the enemy? That's really
Sure.
the goal.
So with that, you actually take your fire axe and get it in there like a crowbar, and you begin to open up these, because it is the size of it is the entire torso is opened up, and it is almost like this Venus flytrap, bear trap like creature that has grabbed onto Hold'em, and you pry that open, and Hold'em, you are able to back out of it. And Cliff, as you are prying this thing open with the blade of the fire axe digging into its body, it takes a swipe at you with another one of its arms, and you take 2 harm, and so 1 harm with your armor, and you manage to get Hold'em out of there, and you manage to 3 harm? So with that, you manage to slice the inside of its body, slicing open a part of that giant mouth that it has created.
All right, I'm going to It's so I the change in temperature is what Hold'em's done a lot before. I want to do that again. I'm going to switch back to fire and try to burn it and make that temperature change as drastic as possible.
Sure.
That's a 5.
With a
plus 1, 6.
Sure, I will say with a 5, you, in a panic after just getting your, like your chest and back pierced by these like broken bones from inside of this creature, you bring your hands together to fire a shot at this thing, but it almost out of your hand, instead of fire for a moment, comes out this smoke, and the fire actually opens up for a moment from your hand and lights up the tunnel instead. And in a moment of fear and a bit of anger, the creature, with one of its more insect-like, much sharper legs, attempts to stab you, and it stabs into your shoulder for 2 harm. And with the fire that you have just put up, it creates this wall of fire between you and the creature. And the creature, in a moment of trying to get away from the fire, begins to crawl back down the tunnel. Back towards your friends.
Oh no.
And as we switch to Team Junior, you are all running down the tunnel as you hear this very heavy skittering, as something seems to be running down the tunnel. And with what light you have, not as powerful as Hold'em's light, you can see the flickering of fire down there. And it is causing, because the light source is behind it, causing this heavy shadow of some kind of humanoid-like creature, but with insectoid legs, moving up and around this entire tunnel, sticking to the sides with 2 large scythe-like arms that is immediately running towards your direction.
Jeremiah, what should we do?
I mean, I got a big knife, a rifle, and a revolver on me, so I can start shooting. You can get behind me if you'd like.
With that, the creature runs up.
Yeah, sure. This has happened all pretty quickly. I don't think we got a lot of time to talk about it.
No,
with that,
I wasn't. Okay, sure.
Oh, it was kind of out of character, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, you said Jeremiah, what should we do? So I assumed it was in character.
It was like a time freeze moment.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
Record
hey,
scratch.
I just want to tell you something.
This is me. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. I feel like the quickest thing I can do is take out my revolver and try to get a bullet out as it's charging.
Sure, I do think that, the deputy also tries to do the same thing and take some shots at it. Why don't you roll to kick some ass for me?
Is that 2d6?
Yep.
Is everything 2d6? But I have to ask every time?
It is always 2d6.
Okay, cool. It's not like this isn't like episode 32. Is that plus anything?
That is plus your tough.
So it's plus nothing. Okay. Is a 9.
That is a 9 on 7 and 7 plus. Whenever you're fighting, you inflict harm on one another. So you two are firing at this thing, almost like taking 2 steps forwards and begin firing, and the shots from your gun just flash the tunnel for a moment, and this thing is still screeching and moving towards you at an incredible speed, and you can even see now this large chest cavity with open teeth, and with a part of it that has been like carved open. Most of its head is like partially gone, and it screeches at you as it is full rampage mode running towards you. You see the bullets entering it. How much damage does your gun do?
1 harm close.
1 harm close? Okay.
1 harm close, reload small.
Yeah, sure. I will say with that you manage to get a bullet inside of it, or even a couple. It seems like it is having trouble finding purchase. You feel like it should be this thing is thin. You feel like it should be blasting through the skeleton, and yet it is almost having trouble getting through it, but you still see the bullet holes entering its skin, and it immediately, with one of its insectoid-like legs, places it between the two of you, flicks Denim towards the side of the tunnel where his back hits the tunnel and he falls to the floor, and it takes a swipe at you with one of its arms, inflicting 2 harm.
Can I make one more immediate move, or do we have to move on to somebody else?
Well, what do you mean, like another immediate move?
So I would like to try to harm it again, but I know that we have to take turns, so.
Well, William, is there anything you'd like to do?
I would like to try to harm it, but I'm not exactly sure what kind of weapon I have, because, like, as a part of my gift from my guide, it was part of their body, so I'm assuming that I can make a part of my body a weapon of some sort, but I'm not.
I would say so too. Previously you've managed to like turn part of your hand into like a blade, or like extended your arm into like a piercing weapon, and usually it takes on like a purple kind of metallic hue.
I'm gonna try to. Now, and when you say insectoid, does it have like exoskeleton legs?
Not really, just much more like the shape of them, that they're almost kind of spider-like the way that it's moving through the tunnel.
I'm gonna try to cut off at least one of the legs.
Sure. Roll to kick some ass.
That's a 10.
With a 10. Alright. Same thing there. You inflict harm on one another, but with a 10 plus, you choose one extra effect.
I'm gonna inflict terrible harm.
Okay. All right. Tell me what this looks like. What kind of weapon do you create here?
I'm just gonna try to make a sharp blade out of my hand and just kind of hack at it.
Yeah, you make that blade out of your hand, and you manage to, with this thing attacking Jeremiah, you manage to run up around it, and again with this almost slightly superhuman speed, you manage to get behind it, and you can see that the spine here itself has almost grown and mutated, like the parts of the bone itself are sticking out of the back in an almost like spike-like way that the legs are sticking out of, and you manage to hack one of the legs off, and it screams out in pain, and we'll say that inflicts... We'll say that it's like a sword, so it inflicts 2 damage, and then you manage to hack at another one of its legs, getting another one off, managing to give it another +1 harm. I will say then with that, the head on the creature actually turns around, and you can see there is like one little sunken white eye and like a few teeth from the upper jaw there, and it skitters to now turn its body around. And as it does, with one of its legs, it manages to thrust its leg at you, piercing your, we'll say piercing one of your legs, like right on the meaty part of the thigh for 2 harm.
Okay.
And I will also say, Cliff, Hold'em, what would you like to do?
So is there fire in the way?
Yeah, there's a bit of fire in the way currently.
Can we go around the fire?
The fire itself is it might take a moment or two to burn out, but right now the flames are licking up about like 2 feet high, and it covers like most of the ground of the tunnel.
Cliff, any ideas?
I'm just trying to think of what could be like the blow for this guy. What might be his weak spot? You
could run through the fire, but you might take some damage.
I don't know if I can handle that.
You don't have any water?
Not on me. I could try to make some water in the air, but you saw Incredibles, so like, have you seen Incredibles? It's a good movie. But like, he can't like make water out of the air when it's like hot like this. That's kind of the same for me.
Actually, I remember I brought a gallon jug, or like 1 or 2 gallon jugs with me before we came.
Yeah, but you're like way the fuck down the hallway.
Yeah, but I can superhuman speed.
You're probably about we'll say about like 40 feet away.
Well, I don't have.
It does seem like you guys are doing damage to this thing, but it also seems like magical attacks or weapons that have been imbued with something a little bit more special seem to be doing a bit more damage than other things.
Can I try to do a long range attack?
Sure.
Like fucking shoot lightning at it from all the way back here?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Do the fucking magic trifecta of fire, ice, lightning.
Yeah, sure. For that, I want you to actually roll plus weird.
Okay.
Earth, air.
All right. So. Can I do my +3 weird and then my +1 like kicks master beyond human limitations?
Yeah.
That's a 12. I didn't even need
All right. With that,
I'm literally shooting a lightning bolt up its butt.
With that, I will say,
Right, that sphincter.
With that, you manage to arc the lightning down the tunnel, and it is, Gabe, it is a good thing that you have hopped down from this thing's back, and we'll say that the lightning is a big change in temperature, I would say. You manage to, so I would personally say that if this were something like a kick some ass roll, I would say lightning would usually do like +2 damage, or 2 damage, but I think that there is a lot of extra things going on here that causes it to be a bit more. And as the whole tunnel lights up for a moment from a distance, Hold'em, you narrow your focus, and how does this look like? Do you like stick your hand out, or is it like a firebending lightning
I
kind
am
of
going
way?
to stick my hand out like a finger gun and shoot the lightning from the tip of my finger.
Wow.
Just the tip.
Yep.
And you fire that across over the fire and down the entire tunnel. And William, it is a good thing that you moved out of the way, because the lightning strikes the back of this thing near the spine, and it not only singes the entire back, but causes almost all of the limbs and legs of this thing to fall off from behind it as it screeches in pain as it is electrified, and its entire body begins to spasm, and it falls to the ground. Oof. In almost pieces, really, as the legs and limbs have fallen off from its back.
Wow. I look at my hand like amazed at what I just did.
Yeah, you see the tip of your finger, and it is almost smoking from the end a little bit, from the edge of your finger, and there's just a little bit of black soot as well.
When we get out of this thing, Hold'em, we're going to your place for barbecue, okay?
Sounds good to me.
It only takes if like a moment or two, and the fire begins to burn down. There's not really anything flammable to really keep it going. It was just an immediate obstruction if you were to like stay in the moment, you know. And with that, your group is able to get back together.
Okay, let's get
the fuck out of here.
I will say then, with that, the rest of you get back together. William, your body already begins to heal itself, as we've established that you heal one about every round or so. So, between every turn, if everybody were to get a turn. So it does not take long, but you notice already that the hole in your leg begins to very slowly, almost like a Wolverine healing factor, begin to close up and shut.
Okay.
And Luna kind of comes up. Okay. I hope you guys had better luck with that little side tunnel. Solus, yeah, how'd that go?
I think we stopped something from continuing to give birth.
Yep.
Oh?
Yep.
Well, that would be nice.
And Junior's like, I ate a worm.
That doesn't. Considering what we're dealing with right now, I don't think that is. I can assume that's not actually a regular worm.
Mateo steps
right?
in. It wasn't like the one William did. It was like a little pre-baby? Like a baby.
Okay.
It was funny.
No, it wasn't. Meanwhile, William's just fucking bawling his eyes out.
And I will say with that, with your group back together, you continue to make your way down further through the Crimson Cave. William, I want you to make just a roll plus weird for me.
Let's see. Ugh, that's 4.
Okay. So with that, I want you to mark experience.
I'm almost leveled up from this.
I was gonna say-
from this one day.
You are gonna be
Only 1 experience
Level.
left.
One tough guy. With that, you've lost all your radar. You've lost any sense of where any of the parasites are, and you take a moment to think about your surroundings and try to focus in on the mother again. And you focus the same way where you are trying to see without necessarily seeing and feel any parasites around you. You feel one very, very faint one, very far down where you guys came. You feel 2 less faint ones a bit closer than that. And you sense... Well, you would have sensed this thing, be it if it were still living. And you sense the mother. And as you are feeling that out, you get the sense okay, we are closer. It is, if we continue down northward, we should be able to get to it. And as you sense it, you feel this immediate dread chill down the back of your spine. As you feel like something is immediately looking at you. Something very angry. Something very... with an almost murderous intent. And you realize with this, if that little stunt with the unborn parasites didn't alert your presence, this most definitely did. Table Party's been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at The Table Party and at Team Chaos Pods, or on Instagram at Team Chaos Productions. See you again soon.
Fuck.
Looks like we're gonna keep fighting.
The whole of this session was consequences. Just consequences. That our actions have consequences.